board meeting Wednesday. Beyond the boardroom. Beyond the boardroom.
All right, here we go. Another episode of Board Meeting Wednesday. I'm your host, Brad Parker, and super excited to have my guest, Sean Dunn, here from the Meineke organization. I want to thank you for coming on.
Absolutely, Brad. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. So let's talk about what we're going to do today, guys. What we love to do at Board Meeting Wednesdays is get out of the boardroom, meet with business owners just like you, and really dial into the top 3 technology platforms that they're using in their business to drive success. We all know in business today, if we have great systems and processes, it gives us the ability to grow, drive more revenue, and ultimately expand our business operations. And we just wouldn't really be able to do it without technology. So we're going to dive into the top 3 and we're going to learn how it helps drive success. So before we get started though, let's give a little context. So Meineke, one store operator, been in the business for 2 years.
2 years in July.
With goals of expanding to maybe 2, possibly 8 locations, just depending on how the world turns.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, it's our first shop. We're new to auto repair, and so it's been a learning experience for us. It's been a lot of fun. It's been exciting, but certainly has us thinking that we want to have additional stores. We're just not really sure what that number is at this point, but certainly more than one at some point.
What has it been like? Because I come from the franchise world,
Okay.
and when we were new, we didn't know what we were doing.
Sure.
What has it been like working with Meineke and having this ecosystem of assistance and help in getting going?
Yeah, well, and I tell you, that's the only reason we could have done this, because of Meineke, because of the tools, the coaching, the support that we have through the Meineke system, and actually the other FCs have also been great. We're entering a world that's been in business for 50 years. They've really mastered this thing. They know what they're doing, and they make it so that folks like us who don't have auto repair experience can be successful. And so it's been a lot of fun. It's been challenging, but very rewarding.
I mean, we've been working with Meineke for 3 years, and I got to tell you, I was blown away coming to the first trade show, and I was just like, what is going on? The culture,
Yeah.
just the resources that they give.
Sure. Right.
It was eye-opening to me,
Yeah,
to where it's like, it really felt a lot like my franchise. I was just like, and they've been in business for 55 years.
Okay.
So
nice.
it's like when you're wanting to partner with somebody, let's partner with somebody that's got the track record, so we can get them to be successful.
Absolutely. It feels like a giant family. I mean, everybody's there to embrace you, to support you, to help you to be as successful as you can be. I mean, a rising tide lifts all boats.
I call it this. I say the same thing. I always kind of kid around. I feel like I'm like a kid at camp when I go to the trade show, right? Because all your friends are there. You're having fun. You're talking business. I'm just all business. I just want to talk business.
I'm the same way. I hear you. Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. So we're going to go through 3 technology platforms, no specific order. What would you say one of your top providers is today?
And Tekmetric for sure.
Okay, so Tekmetric at the macro level for our users out there that do not use it today, what is it that they do?
That is our point of sale system that also allows us to break up work for our staff.
Okay, great. So a supercharged POS system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. So when we're looking at that POS system, if I'm a customer and I'm coming in, how does it affect my experience and make sure that I'm getting a good one?
Well, first off, we use this system to lay out exactly what we're going to do to every repair, every vehicle that comes in the shop, and send that to the customer so that they have full transparency on what we're doing. And we use that system to get their authorization for us to do what it is that we intend to do. That way there's no afterwards, well, I didn't say this, I said this, or whatever. So right out of the gate, it makes for an improved customer experience.
And I would assume in that space is extremely important, right? I don't think I've ever been excited about spending money on fixing a car, right? And so being able to communicate with the customer and give them that transparency and understanding, I assume it helps them become an educated buyer, which is a great buyer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's important to us. We want our customers to feel good about what we're doing. We want to help to relieve that stress, not add to that stress. And Tekmetric allows us to do that.
Well, it sounds like a happy customer is helping the culture of the business, which probably exudes right over to your team. How does it help the team really just execute that Meineke mission?
Sure. Well, so from the customer's approval, then it goes back to our staff. And so they're able to use the same platform to realize what it is that we'd like for them to do to take care of this customer's car. We also use other products, which I guess we'll get into, that help us to ensure we're doing a good inspection of the customer's vehicle, and then we rely on that to then build the estimate, the ticket for the customer, utilizing Techmetric, and then again we send that to the customer. So again, the transparency is there. They have the opportunity up front to either approve or not whatever services that we're recommending that we suggest that they get taken care of.
And so I had other people talk to me about Techmetric too, and as the team member, there's just so many things that can be fixed on a car, right?
Absolutely. Right.
And so you got to price these jobs out. And what the other guys had told me is Techmetric makes it very easy for you to say, hey, this is our brake job price. This is our oil change price. And so I don't have to come in and make custom quotes. I'm able to really get in and select and be very turnkey.
Right, absolutely. I mean, we may recommend $3,000 in repairs to a vehicle, and you may just not be in a position to take care of all of that. And so we're going to help you prioritize what's critical, what really needs to be taken care of, like today at this time, and then what maybe we can put off for 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years. And so it makes it so that the customer remains in control of the process. Again, through transparency, but then we're able to communicate whatever the customer needs are to the techs, and so they can be sure that the customer's getting taken care of, and I mean all the way around.
Excellent. So how does that translate into dollars in the bank? So you're either making money or saving money because of this system.
Well, the system has a lot of tools that are embedded in it, and I mean, including gross profit, labor hours. I mean, you name it. And so there's really a full suite of tools that you have available to you through the use of this one single product. That really does make it so that we can be much more effective. I mean, I can't imagine life without it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine, if I'm the service writer and I'm having to do breaks, I'm having to do that every single time. I'm going to end up quoting it different, right? If I don't have that system, so I'm either losing money because maybe I didn't quote it right, but if I quote it consistently, I'm going to make more money consistently because my customer feels comfortable because they're getting that consistent pricing on a regular basis.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying not to drill too deep in the weeds here, but we have canned jobs. And so for that brake job, for that particular vehicle, we've got it so that we've got consistency. Whether I'm the service writer that day or you're the service writer that day, the customer's going to get the same price for that job for their vehicle.
And that's important because that builds trust.
Absolutely.
And trust is key.
Yep.
All right, cool. So let's roll to number 2.
Number 2, AutoVitals.
AutoVitals. Okay, so at the macro level, one statement for our listeners, what is it they execute for you?
That's our digital vehicle inspection program.
Okay, great. So digital inspection, I'm able to break down the job, send it to the customer in a way where they can easily understand what's wrong with the car.
Not just understand it, they can see pictures of what our tech sees. So if our tech's saying you've got this suspension component that's a problem, they're not just describing the problem, they're taking a picture of it or even a video. And then from that, after they've taken, however many 20 plus pictures, that goes to our front of house, a service writer, who then they have the opportunity to review the pictures, make sure that they are telling the story so that the customer who may not know anything about vehicles is now able to look at that report and say, oh, wow, I can see why I need brakes, or I can see why I need this suspension component, or whatever the case may be, taken care of. And then they can have that report so that then the customer could share that report with their family members. Maybe it's a young person, they want to share it with their parents, husband, wife, whatever the case may be. And so now you get a very comprehensive 51 probably plus point inspection of your vehicle. And you really have a good understanding of the overall health of your vehicle. It allows us to do a much better job of putting in front of the customers what it is that they need, why we're recommending it, and then they can make the informed decisions.
I think you said something really important there. The customer being able to make an informed decision.
Absolutely.
I talk a lot about an educated buyer is a good buyer,
Yeah,
right? Because they feel comfortable.
For sure.
So AutoVitals is just making it so easy for somebody like myself, right? You pop the hood of a car, I don't know what's going on in there,
Right.
but I can get the information, I can get the videos, I can get the explanation, so I feel comfortable and say, you know what? I think I need to go here. This one I'm going to wait on, and it gives me the ability to kind of select and choose to kind of customize my order for the day.
That's right. That's right. I mean, it makes for a much better experience for the customer.
So how does that translate over to the service writer, right? Them being able to present in such a high, I remember back in the day, like I went to a Goodyear, right? And they would just tell me what's wrong with my car. And I'm just sitting out in the waiting room and I'm already frustrated. I don't want to be there. I don't have the money. I had to get the Goodyear card. I don't even know if they're telling me what's real, but I got to get my car fixed, So if I'm that service writer and I have this unbelievable presentation technology, what does that do for their culture?
Well, it makes it so that the techs are, first off, they're on it. They're paying attention. They're looking for things, and then they're documenting those things that they're seeing. It makes it so that the front of the house and the back of the house are working much more closely together, because now it goes from the tech who's doing the inspection in the rear to the service writer, service advisor in the front. And then they're able to then tell the story that the tech wants them to tell through the use of AutoVitals. When you have the picture, we're able to edit it and maybe put a, a green arrow or green check mark saying, hey, this
Yep.
is great. Everything's wonderful. This is fun here. We try to take a lot of pictures of things that look good because I think that builds, credibility with our customers. And then the areas where there needs to be improvement, then we're able to put a particular arrow or maybe an X or a circle around the components that maybe need attention. Maybe it's a critical, maybe it's not so critical, maybe it's something that we just want them thinking about. Through the use of AutoVitals, we're really able to do a good job of giving them a visual to help us depict that.
I love how you described it. I didn't really think about it from the back of the house to the front of the house, right? Could you imagine like you're busy and you got the telephone game and you were just talking to the tech and then you have to come translate it over. So now I've got unbelievable notes. I've got the pictures. Now as a guy behind the counter, I can get in there because I might still be learning too, right? It's not like
Absolutely.
everybody that's up there writing the jobs has been doing it forever. And so they're getting educated from the back of the house and it's all customized, all streamlined. And I love the aspect of talking about what's good.
Right.
I
Right.
just had my car and I had an inspection report and they had 4 things on there that were good. And I was like, now I don't feel like I'm being sold.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm being educated.
Yeah.
My car's in good shape, but there's a couple things that we need to take care of.
Yeah.
It's my wife's car. And so, they got taken care of because
Yeah.
I can't have my wife out there with the car not in good shape.
Yeah. Hey, that's right.
So I would assume, back of the house can now communicate with the front of the house. This is putting dollars in the bank,
Oh, absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
How is it helping that customer feel better to like purchase more?
Yeah, well, I mean, again, we're empowering customers. We're empowering customers to make those decisions that are best for them and their vehicles and their families, right? Everybody wants to be in a safe vehicle. Everybody wants to be in a dependable vehicle. And we're able to present it in a way that customers understand, wow, this really does need to be a priority, or this is something that I can put off. Maybe I don't want to get it taken care of today, but they're able to really, have a strong comfort in knowing that they're taking care of those things that really need to be taken care of. And maybe it's from the perspective of, hey, gas is getting more and more expensive. I want my vehicle to be as efficient as possible. So there might be some things that maybe aren't quite as critical, but are going to help along that journey. So really it does a fantastic job to help us break that down and tell that story to our customers.
I think you said something really interesting too, that you can talk about what's good, you can talk about what's critical, and you can talk about some maybes.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And maybe I can't do the maybes today, but now I have that inspection report. And so when I come back in, everybody's got the notes. Everybody understands what you did last time,
Right.
what was on the maybe list. You're back in for the maybe. So I would assume those revisits happen more frequently and there's a higher conversion because you're not having to resell because you've already educated. Now it's more of a reminder.
I mean, absolutely. It happens all the time. Somebody 2 weeks, 2 months later, maybe they get paid, maybe they get their taxes back, whatever the case. They knew that there was some work that they could put off for a little bit, but that they wanted to get it taken care of as soon as possible. And they come back and they get that work. The techs feel good about it because, hey, they're recommending services that maybe don't get repaired on this visit, but maybe they'll get repaired in a few weeks or a few months. So they feel like the job that they're doing is worthy. It's worthwhile. I mean, customers are actually listening to what they're saying, what their recommended services, and they're coming back and getting the work. Obviously, that's great for us because the customer may have come just for something like an oil change, which is not something that's typically profitable for a shop.
Right.
But now they're able to add other services onto that so that the cars, first and foremost, we've got a car running in tip-top shape. But again, the decisions to get there to help us get the work, informed decisions that the customers were making. We empower them to make those decisions for themselves.
Although it sounds like it's a must have. All right. So number 3.
Number 3, hey, FormPiper. That's what we're here to talk about.
I tell you, it's been a great show and a great set of podcasts because everybody has said FormPiper. I usually don't let people say FormPiper
Okay.
since we own FormPiper, but I'm making an exception because we're in person and I just love to hear people tell me how great we're doing and how we're able to help drive success. So FormPiper at the macro level, what is it that we do?
It is a system that allows us to present multiple payment options to a customer depending on their own personal financial situation.
Are you looking for a job? I can get you. All right. So how does that help your customers?
Well, first off, the typical Meineke customer is, household income between about $35,000 and $150,000.
Okay.
So as you might imagine, we see a lot of customers that, might want some help with having their payments or whatever it is for their take care of their vehicles. This allows us to give them multiple options, really. And it's as simple as our front of house sending them a link. And from that, they go through, they fill out a few key things, and then they get multiple options from multiple different lenders.
I'm curious, did you ever run the shop without FormPiper?
We did. As a matter of fact, we did.
Tell me a little bit about pre-post for that consumer. How many lenders were you working with
2.
before Piper?
Yep.
And so if I applied for the first one and I got declined.
And you would have had to have had pretty good credit to have gotten the first one.
Okay. So,
Solid income, pretty good credit to get the first one.
so if I got declined, what would that experience be like?
It would be not terrible, but it would roll you over into one other option.
Okay. And did they have to fill out additional information?
They would, but it wasn't terrible, right? It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't nearly as simple as now with FormPiper, where you fill out one application, and we have 7 different lenders that we work with.
Let's pause real quick. Could you say that again? How many applications do we fill out?
One application.
One application, and how many lenders?
For us, it's 7, and it could be more, but 7 covers it.
Okay, guys. So it's all about the one app. You'll hear me talk about it all the time. You talk about it wasn't terrible for them to fill out that second app, but I track the data. 40% of customers will not fill out a second application.
Wow, no kidding. Fascinating.
And that's why I built FormPiper, because I went out into the market and tried to use who are my competitors today, but they broke apart the application and I had to drop off. So I just kept tracking the data. I was like, guys, we got to get to one app. And like, I couldn't get them to do it. And I was like, well, then I'll just build it. And then revenue just compounded. When you start looking at things at scale, 40% fall off. Like, we just do so much work to get the customer in. You do the presentation, you put everything together, and then they don't have the money and they don't feel comfortable being told no and filling out multiple applications, and we lose that opportunity. And that's just not opportunity I want to lose.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And, for a customer with our old system, they would realize that we're not going to be successful in this whatever lending application. And so unfortunately that puts customers in a really awkward situation.
Yeah.
They feel like, hey, I wasn't, maybe I wasn't good enough, if you will, to get this loan. And so with FormPiper, we don't deal with that, because, it isn't a matter of you don't get this. It's a matter of, hey, here are the options that you have available to you. Now, as a customer, you get to pick the option that you feel like works best for you. And
I'm loving that.
And that could even include, no money out of pocket, or maybe a small money out of pocket if you're, so inclined to take that path. But
there's options.
There are options.
So they get to choose.
And options.
And anytime you have an option, you usually make a choice.
Absolutely. Again, informed decisions.
All right, so I'm loving it. So pre-FormPiper, 2 lenders, multiple apps. Post-FormPiper, 1 app, 7.
Absolutely.
We're getting more approvals. How does that help your team? Like, how is the culture now knowing that they can get the customer to fill out one app and have those approvals?
The front of house staff is so much more confident telling customers that, hey, we've got payment options for everybody, right? We've got payment options for everybody. Even folks that don't want to use any credit, right? We can probably find you a lender that'll work with you. And so it really does. It empowers the team. It empowers the customer. And it really does. I mean, it allows us to get more work, and that's better for the company, right?
I found you always have turnover, right? You're always having to train new people. And if a new person who's not maybe great at sales has to go out and tell somebody they were declined, it's defeating.
Sure.
For the customer, for the team member, it's just a bad experience. And so my mantra is always say yes.
Absolutely.
Figure out a way to come out and say, yes, I got this for you. And when you can do that, you empower those new people too, to be able to go out. We teach people to say, we take cash credit and do low monthly payments. Would you like to fill out an application?
Right.
That's not a sales statement. It's a very easy statement for somebody who's not crushing it at sales to let that customer know that they have the financing. And then it just opens the door for the customer to say, yeah, I'd love to do that. I'd love to fill out an application. So
yeah, I mean, absolutely right. It makes it so much easier for the team, so much easier for the customer. And it's a win-win.
So this is going to be a loaded final question, because if you went from 2 to 7 options, we're getting more approvals. I can only assume that you're doing more revenue in financing, so it's driving that revenue for the business.
Yeah, no question.
You have any idea today what your percentage of finance revenue is?
Well, we are a new shop. We're still finding our way. We will be open 2 years in July, and so we're not doing the level of financing that we would like to be doing. But we now have tools at our disposal that I think are going to allow us to be much more successful in the future.
Well, let's get the team together while we're here, and let's figure out where we're at and where you're trying to go.
Perfect.
And let's figure out how to get that number
Hey,
up.
I welcome that.
Okay, great. So we just heard the top 3 technology platforms that you're using, and congratulations, next month you're opening up a new location, right? But I got bad news for you. You can only take one platform with you. Who are you taking?
Well, it'd have to be Techmetric. We have to have that point of sale, and we have to have that system so that we can just manage work in the shop. First and foremost, we have to have.
It's the foundation.
Absolutely, it really is. It really is. Without that, the other applications just are no good, right? We have to have that to be able to get the work done. But I tell you, I can't imagine life without all 3 that we've talked about.
Well, I got good news for you. I'm going to try to talk to Techmetric, get integrated in there so you can send the app from there, and we can move the data in there so you don't even have to use the FormPiper. So we'll just let you have FormPiper in that new location as well.
Right. I love that. There you go.
Okay, great. So guys, for everybody that's listening, board meeting Wednesdays, it's all about getting out of the boardroom. It's about having a good time. You've probably seen me on the boat doing interviews or out kiteboarding. So us as entrepreneurs, we work hard because we want to play hard. We want to have a good time. So tell me, what is it what's your why? What makes you want to push every day and get out there and crush it?
Family, of course. I mean, family. Everything that we do is for family. But with our family, we like to go to the Outer Banks of North Carolina and spend time on the beach, spend time dining at the restaurants, and really just relaxing, soaking up the sun, and really enjoying it. So,
do you kiteboard?
I do not. Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
So I love the Outer Banks.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually
great spot.
I learned how to go upwind there.
Okay.
I did a week training camp there and was able to actually become a kiteboarder there.
Nice.
So if you go there regularly and you want to do it, don't be intimidated by it.
Okay.
Get some lessons and get out. It's one of the best sports that you can do. You can do it into your old age. And it just takes you to beautiful places and just puts you in an environment that nobody else is in.
That's for sure. Yeah. Yeah. It looks intense. So you must be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I mean, it's nonstop. I work out 4 to 5 times a week, stretch every single day, wake surf, golf, kiteboard. I feel like I'm breaking every day. The knees, like everything. It's like 40, 47. I got to just stretch more. I got to keep stretching. Well, awesome. Glad to hear that you're crushing it. Really appreciate you coming on the show. Really look forward to getting down into the trade show and getting with the vendors and getting with the teams and everybody and just get out here and figure out how we can keep crushing it.
Right, that's awesome. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for everything you and your team do. We really do appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for the partnership.
All right. Thanks so much.
Board meeting Wednesday. Beyond the boardroom.